I just have a few questions for you, Rube. First question for me is more of like an overall, I guess from Dave Dombrowski, from just like the Phillies personnel management, everyone involved, what does trying to re-sign a player like Kyle Schwarber, let's talk about Schwarber or JT, for example, like what does that look like? Is it kind of a sit back, wait, you have a number in mind, or maybe like a limit in mind of the maximum you're willing to give, and you wait for the market to kind of come to you? Or is it you're proactively, out there seeking what other teams are going to offer?
So I think it's a combination of things. It is a delicate one because you tell the player, yes, we want to bring you back. I'm sure that they've had negotiations and discussions about it. Casey Close, who represents him, I dealt with him many, many times, particularly with Brian Howard. He's an excellent agent, and he's a good person to deal with. If you look back in the history of what he's done in the past, Derek Jeter he was Derek Jeter's representative, and there was a big deal about whether or not they were going to sign him back that 1 year when he became a free agent. They ended up getting it done eventually, making sure that Derek, he obviously wanted to stay in New York. He was an iconic, he's the captain, and meant so much to the organization. They figured it out. They got it done. And I think it's one of those delicate situations now. Dave Dombrowski, I'm sure, has a relationship with Casey Close. I'm sure he's dealt with him in the past. I know that they've talked, I'm sure, ad nauseum over the last year or so. And I think it probably began in spring training. So I think they have an idea of parameter. But, I mean, this is free agency. You have to, as a player, you have to go out there and find out where my marketplace is, who is willing to really step forward and eventually put the onus on the team. Now, I think that at some point you want to make sure you're doing your business. At some point you got to ask the player, okay, it's time for you to make a decision. There's got to be a breaking point, and because otherwise, they got to figure out what they're going to do, what plan B, C, D, and E is. And so at some point, I don't know what the date is, but as an organization, as a GM, you got to say to the player and to the agent, okay, let's get this done.
Right.
Let's figure it out where the number is, and let's go, because we got to make a move. And a lot of the things are predicated on whether or not he comes back. Right.
So at the general manager meetings that took place, I believe they're over. I don't know if they're
They are over. They are indeed over.
What goes down? I mean, I'm sure a lot, but what goes down in those meetings? Are there handshake deals happening? Are GMs open with each other about what they're working on?
Well, there used to be a time way back when the GMs would show up to like the World Series and they would start, and all of them to go. That doesn't happen. Very often. That was probably 20 years ago. Things have changed pretty dramatically, and you can communicate with these guys via text, via call, whatever the case may be, email, etc. But I think the face-to-face discussions where you sort of kick off possible discussions regarding trades, those things do happen during the GM meetings. Some deals get done. Some deals get are born. But at the very least, you do have a little bit of a discussion about what teams you might match up with. So it's a really good time, and it's a really private time usually for the GMs to start that process.
All right, now lastly for me, just timeline. I know you mentioned you don't know when the unofficial deadline would be where the Phillies would go to Kyle Schwarber, his agent, and say, like, look, we need a decision here.
Right.
If you had to guess, just based on your experience, based on even recent seasons with big free agent signings, when do you think we will know if Kyle Schwarber is going to be a Philly?
My guess is we will know something sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, that's soon.
Sometime
that's
between
soon.
I got to believe, Kyle Schwarber is one of those guys that probably wants to know exactly where he's going to be. And I don't necessarily think that Kyle Schwarber is going to go for like the last dollar. I think comfort's important to him. I think he enjoys being here. I'm hopeful that he enjoys it enough to come back. But I don't think it's going to be played out. It's not going to be one of those deals where it's played out, into March.
Right. Who signs first, JT or Kyle?
Oof. Wow, that's a great question. I'm going to say JT.
Okay.
I'm going to say JT first.
Why?
Because there's very few catchers out there, and I think the teams are going to the teams that are really interested in JT are going to probably try to get it done quickly. It's such an important position, and I think his market's going to be set quicker than the market for the outfielders.
Okay.
So I think he's going to get set early.
All right. Well, we'll see.
Hopefully these guys are done before Christmas, right?
I hope so too, because it makes me nervous, and I guess nervous. It makes me anxious. Like just get it done, so then we can continue to talk about what else forward. They can do. Right.
Well, and that's the thing with baseball too, as opposed to all the other sports, where like the NFL, like kind of all that tampering period or whatever, it all opens on one day, and all the guys sign. Same thing with the NBA. With Major League Baseball, it just like trickles over like months, which is just agonizing.
It's
one of the things that I wish, honestly, and I know the players don't necessarily want this because they want to keep things wide open, but I do think that it sort of forces people to make decisions. I would love for them to set like a, I don't know, mid-January date where all the major, I don't know how you would do that necessarily, but all of those guys sort of have to be signed and kind of go from there.
I agree with you.
I think that would push the industry to get things done. It would be exciting. Like that would be,
you have a deadline. Like you have to, right? Like the NFL does. I mean, the MLB is the trade deadline, but I agree. Like if I was a player, I would just want to know. Like I get the business side and strategically maybe it's not the smartest thing to do, but I'd be like, yes, fine, just let me sign. I just don't want to draw this out longer than it needs to be.
But I think it would be great for teams just because they also have to sell season tickets. They want to show the team, this is this is by and large the team that we have. They can still make deals and trades, but I would love to see that'd be something, deadlines breed deals. That's what happens when you have deadlines. Things happen. And I'd like to see that happen. It'd be cool.